So good afternoon. Today we're doing the descriptive investigation, measuring moles by mass. So how can the number of moles in a sample be determined from its mass is the guiding question for today. The materials we are going to need is one balance, 5 chemical samples, and 5 weigh boats, as well as a scoopula. We are going to record the mass of a weight boat in grams. So I'm going to place the weigh boat. I'm going to record 2.32 grams on my piece of paper. I'm going to zero it. Now that I've zeroed it, it will not be taken into effect every time I put a sample into it. I have my 5 samples, and I've written their chemical formula names here. My first sample will be zinc, and I'm going to find the mass by placing it on the scale. I find that the sample of zinc is 2.08 grams. My next sample is going to be copper. And I find that that sample of copper is 0.13 grams. Then I have a sample of citric acid, or C6H8O7. When I place it on the scale, I find that that has a mass of 1.25. Next is my sample of iron, which has a mass of 2.09. And finally, a mass of sodium chloride, or a sample of sodium chloride that has a mass of 3.47. Now that I have my masses, I'm going to return to my desk and start working on finding the molar mass. So to find the molar mass, we're going to remember the steps that we learned in our previous section of this unit. First, I'm going to identify what my formula is. So I'm going to do sample 1 and sample 3. So Zn is my formula, and I know that that is just zinc. So I'm going to look on my periodic table to find the atomic mass of zinc, which is right here. It is 65.4. And the atomic mass is weighed in grams per mole. So here is my molar mass of zinc that I'm going to put right here in my table. I'm now going to do number 3. My formula is C6H8O6. My first step is to separate out my elements. I have C, I have H, and I have O. Now I identify how many of each of these elements I have in the equation by using the subscript. So I have 6C, I have 8 hydrogens, and I have 7 oxygens. Now I multiply the quantity that I have by the atomic mass. I know off the top of my head that carbon has the atomic mass of 12, hydrogen has the atomic mass of 1, oxygen has the atomic mass of 16. Then I multiply across, and add together. Now that I have that, this here is going to be my molar mass for this compound. Continue these for the next 3 samples. Now we have to figure out what type of sample it is. If it is just the element name or formula by itself, it will be an element. So Zn is just an element. So I'm going to write element here. Well, I'm going to move that paper over so you can see it a little better. C6H8O7, we know that that can't be an element. And I have no H2O in there, so it's not a hydrate. So it's either an ionic or a covalent compound. And we have to remember an ionic compound is a metal and a nonmetal, while a covalent compound is two nonmetals. So if we look at sample 3, I have no metals in there, and it is multiple nonmetals, so I know that it is a covalent compound. Fill in the type of samples for the other 3 samples that we have here. Now we're going to go on. We're going to, citing the data from the investigation as evidence, respond to the following questions using complete sentences. Following the example above, calculate the number of moles in each of your samples. Show your calculation using dimensional analysis with the correct units and number of significant figures. The example shows you 2 steps. Step 1 is calculate the molar mass, which we've already done. Step 2 is convert grams to moles. So for sample 1, my sample 1 is Zn, and I had 2.08 grams in that sample. So I'm going to set up my dimensional analysis. To cancel out my units, grams has to be on the bottom, so I'm going to put grams of Zn here. And moles is going to be at the top because I'm going to use my molar mass, and I know that's grams per mole. So my molar mass was 65.4 grams of zinc per 1 mole of mass. So I'm going to take 2.08 and divide it by 65.4. When I do that calculation, I get 0.031804. But I know that I only want 3 significant figures because my original answer on the scale had 3 significant figures. So I'm going to round this to my 3rd significant figure. And then I'm going to add my units. And box my answer. So in my sample of zinc, I had 0.0318 moles of zinc. Please use the rest of this time to complete 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then answers questions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in complete sentences. For your expanding your thinking, I am requiring you to do 2 of the 5. Any extra that you do will be extra credit.